So this is a great way to link people together in a single table, but each of these persons has other data. So what can we do? We'll just extend the table. We'll have an address column. So each person gets an address. Oops, I'll just type that as address number 1, address number 2, so that's going to be house number, city, state or region, province, whatever, zip code or postal code, whatever you use in your country. And each one of these people gets an address in their row. And you're going to see a problem right away. As soon as I get down to Jane here, well, Jane has the same address as Bill because they're living together. And so do, let's see, we've got their kids. We have Susie and Tommy are going to have the same address. So you can see this is going to take up a lot of space and become redundant with each person having their own address field. So what can we do about that? Well, if the data is essentially the same format for every entity, such as in these names, using one table is appropriate. But when we get to information that might be either redundant or different, actually, especially when it might be redundant, it's appropriate to use another table. Now I need to draw this over here and leave some room in between because I'm going to run into a problem that I need some room to fix. So here's our addresses. Make some rows. Here's our index column. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And let's start with Bill. And I'll make a temporary person column here. I'm not going to draw the line because we're actually going to not need it. So here's our person that ties back. So Bill has an address. Let's say it's 1, 2, 3, 4 J Street. I'll just make these up as I go along. Okay, so how does that tie back to Bill? Well, Bill is person number 0, so I'll just put that right here. And so person number 0 goes with address line 0. And let's see, Linda is going to have a different address. That's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7 P Street. And that's going to be the next one that goes to Linda, who is person number 1. Okay, so far so good. Now Tommy has an address, and Tommy has the same address as Bill. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 J Street. And that's going to tie back to Tommy, who is person number 2. And you see I've got the same problem here. Again, even though I've got a separate table, I'm still repeating addresses. So I'm going to have the same address for Bill and Tommy and Susie and who's the other one? Hard to follow, isn't it? But the computer does it just fine. So, but I can't do this because I'm going to run into the same problem of redundant addresses. And it would work, but it's going to be very, very redundant, use up a lot more space than we want. So what I'm going to do is have another table out here that's going to link my addresses to my people. So I'm going to get rid of this column here. I don't need it anymore. Oh, this is going to be a convoluted mess, but trust me, the computers are good at handling this. So there's my person, and there's my address. Totally separate table. Now there will also be an index column over here. I'm not going to draw it because it's just going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We know it's there. Just have our people and our addresses. So let's see how this ties together now. So Bill is going to have his address put in. He's 1, 2, 3, 4 J Street. And so what we have is address 0 ties to person 0. Okay, easy enough. Now address number 1 tied to Linda. So address number 1 goes to person number 1. So address 1 goes to person number 1. So far, so good. Now Tommy has the same address as Bill. So we type that in, or we just know it. We say, okay, we're typing in the data. We have this family. We're adding Tommy. And all the data is already known to go together. And so the computer figures out, because we programmed it to figure out they're at the same address. So Tommy, person number 2, goes with address number 0. So here we've saved an address. We forget about address number 2 there for a second. We've reused this row because person 0 goes with address 0. Person 2 also goes with address 0. And who's the next one who goes in that family? That would be Susie. Susie is person number 7, also goes to address number 0. So if I need to know Susie's address, I go, Susie is number 7, look at person number 7, goes to address number 0, and there I can grab that address. And so I don't have to repeat my addresses because I can link them by this third intermediary table. This may seem like a convoluted mess to us mere humans. Like I said, these steps of going, okay, find that, find that, find that, which are kind of a pain for us. It's easy for a computer. And once you set this up, it just happens. You don't have to manage it at all. The only problem is let's say you have to go in and manually go into the database. For some reason, your program's not working and you're troubleshooting. Who knows what it might do. If you have to link these addresses to those people, oh my gosh, what a mess, because I have to go and manually go, okay, what is Bill's address? Okay, Bill is number 0. Then I have to go to the address table. Okay, where's the 0? Oh, there's a 0. And there's a 0 there, and that goes to address number 0. So us handling this is a pain in the patoot, but for computers, that does it real easy. So there is linking tables with an intermediary table to avoid redundancy. I use this in my testing database where I have a test and then there's questions in the test. So I have a big pool of questions and I build a test and I have a table like this that says, well, here's test number 1. It's going to be communication circuits test number 3. And I say, well, that test gets this question and that question. So test question, test question, test question, test question, test question. And that's how I was able to link, a test to questions. A test has multiple questions and I use the same type of thing to link them together because I already have that question database, no need to rewrite those questions. So there you have a way to link multiple tables with a intermediary table. Is this a data structure like you learn in your data structure classes? No, but this is a practical use of database management, which I certainly will talk about when I make my series of videos and classes on database management. So if you found this video useful and informative, as usual, please hit that thumbs up down below. It really helps the channel. Also helps the channel to subscribe. Hit the gray bell when you do so you get informed when I put up a new video. Big thank you to my patrons and my channel members and my other donors. You are making this possible. And a big thanks to everyone for watching.